What is good, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another News Essence video that I have here for you guys. So today, we've got some great information for you guys, but before we get into that, we've partnered up with VGCulture again, and we've got a Bayonetta 2 giveaway going down over there on their Twitter and on their website. So all you need to do to enter is check out the link in the description below. They've got a tweet there. You'll have the instructions. Just go over to VGCulture.com and you'll be able to enter in to win a physical copy of Bayonetta 2. It does seem like it's a worldwide contest, so if you do live in other parts of the world, I think you'll be covered as well. So make sure you check out the link in the description below, check out VGCulture, and hopefully win a copy of Bayonetta 2 on the Nintendo Switch. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into today's news. And we're gonna go ahead and start off with something that Nintendo Switch fans, Nintendo fans need to stop doing. Now, I've been playing a variety of games on this channel, guys. As you guys all know, we have the anniversary of the Nintendo Switch coming up, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some special stuff that we're doing all week. But on top of that, like whenever there's a game that comes out, and it's not on the Nintendo Switch because I cover Japanese news here, I cover RPGs, I cover all sorts of stuff. So I cover a lot of stuff that could potentially come to Switch down the line if it's not announced at first. But we have a lot of Nintendo fans and a lot of Switch fans that say that they're shocked a certain game wasn't announced for the Nintendo Switch at this point, or they have no reason why. They're like, oh my gosh, why didn't this game come? And I think that we're at this point where some fans, I think, trivialize like the development period. A lot of fans don't understand that it takes time to develop games. And if you're developing a game and you want it to be on another platform, and that platform isn't exactly the same as the platforms you're developing it on, and if you've been developing that game for multiple years, it's going to be very difficult to just drop what you're doing before the game is even finished and say, okay, we're gonna put it out on this system, or we're gonna put it out and do that. And that's what a lot of Nintendo Switch fans don't understand when it comes to development. The other day, I was playing Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, and I had a few people say, oh, I'm shocked that this game didn't come, but this game literally has been in development for 5 years. The Sword Art Online project, 5 years the game was been in development, and by the time that the Switch even had like a feasible dev kit to use, they were already halfway done at that point. They were 3 years deep or so, and we've already known that developers across the world, none of them thought the Nintendo Switch was going to do as well as it was doing. Like, Nintendo didn't even think that it was going to do as well as it was doing. Nintendo had the Switch selling 10 million in its first year, which that's not breaking any records, okay? There's been various systems that have done that and better beforehand. So Nintendo didn't even think that this system was going to do as well as it ended up doing, or it's doing right now. So a lot of developers didn't invest the time, didn't put the resources in order to make their games, whether they were halfway in development or whatever the case was. There was a few developers who said, okay, well, maybe we'll do something here and there. There were some developers that kind of added it in halfway through development in 2017 when they found out that, oh snap, like this Switch is actually selling well. SNK Heroine's Tag Team Frenzy, that was one of the developers who decided that they were going to add in the Switch halfway, but they've had quite a bit of trouble according to them. So that's the one thing as Switch fans, we definitely need to be more patient, guys, just because I understand we all want games to come over, and games we're getting stuff, but at the same time, like, you can't expect games that were in development for 3, 4, 5 years before the Switch even had a dev kit, all of a sudden to magically just snap your fingers and it's going to appear on the Nintendo Switch. And you should not be shocked that there was a lot of games that are coming out in 2018 at this point, early 2018 or 2017, that didn't show up on the Nintendo Switch. Now going forward, 2019, 2020, and so on, and heck, even I would say at the end of 2018, you should see more, and we're going to see more. Heck, we're seeing Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, we're seeing Dark Souls that's coming over, we're seeing more stuff coming over, but I would say 2019 would probably be when, okay, developers have realized it. If your game was in development for 2 to 3 years, that would be 2017 or so. So developers had the time, they saw the success, and I'm kind of more talking about Japanese developers here. Western developers, it's a whole different ball game. But for the most part, Japanese developers, what we're kind of targeting here, I think that's when you're going to see most of the developers say, okay, we're on board, we got it now, just because they weren't already working on the game for the past 3 or 4 years. So I think it's going to be more of that time frame when we're going to see more of it. So that's just something that you guys have to realize. It's something that, yes, Bandai Namco even came out to their investors and said, yeah, we kind of messed up. We should have put more resources in there. We didn't know it was going to sell as well. But to their defense, like Nintendo told them it's going to be 10 million in the first year, and anybody looking at that, that's like, okay, well, like the Xbox One sold like 10 million in the first year or something like that. So it's not like they were going to break any records at that point. So I can understand why developers kind of just backed off a bit. And plus, I've talked about it before, the Wii U and the 3DS, to an extent the 3DS, and of course the Wii U. Wii U did not do well at all, so they're looking at that. And the 3DS started off extremely slow at the beginning, and it had the same March launch day. It even had the same type of like aura to it for maybe some Japanese developers. Yo, this is kind of like a really expensive handheld, and it didn't do that great in Japan starting off. So there's some hesitancy basically across the board, even Nintendo's own developers. One of the Pokemon Company higher-ups said that they didn't think that the Nintendo Switch was going to do well on the market at all. And like, he's like right there with Nintendo, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he has Pokemon. It's a portable device. I mean, you would think that he would love that, but he was like, he didn't even think it was going to do that well. So that's kind of what we have to put into perspective here, guys, is that most people, almost all people, like with the exception of like Koei Tecmo might be the only company who thought that the Nintendo Switch was going to do as well as it did. Like, they are probably the only company that I can think of that have publicly stated. Now, there were independent developers that thought the Switch could do very well, at least for what they were trying to do. You know, they were independent developers, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about some of the bigger developers in Japan and all that. And of course, the Western developers, none of them thought that the Switch was going to do anything. They all thought it was going to flop for the most part. They all thought it was not going to do well. So that's just what we have to kind of put into perspective here, guys. That's what's going on. So can we please stop saying you're shocked that this game didn't come over, or you're shocked, or oh my gosh, why isn't it happening? I mean, guys, I think we all know, or we all should know at this point, and kind of look forward towards the future when games do get added in, like I said, because I think the end of this year, you guys are going to see some good stuff. The mid to end of this year, there's some stuff that's coming up that's going to maybe shock some of you guys maybe not. And I think that for 2019, you're going to start seeing a lot, like a flood from the beginning and all the way through. That's when it really gives developers the time, because then the Switch had been on the market for 2 years at this point. So that's what I think is going to happen, guys. I think that once again, calm down. We got a lot of people that are strung out whenever something gets announced or doesn't get announced. Just relax, let the games come, enjoy what you have, and trust me, guys, it's going to definitely get better and better and better. It's not going to get worse, trust me on that one. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to the Nintendo Switch? Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next article here, the Nintendo Switch has reached another major milestone in France. The system is over 1 million units in France, and it's the fastest selling system pretty much of all time there, beating out the PS4 and the Nintendo Wii. And on top of that, it's actually really close to catching the Xbox One in France. The Xbox One is at around 1.3 million units. The Nintendo Switch is right there. By the end of February, we're at 1 million already. So that's really cool to see the Nintendo Switch doing so well in France. I mean, it's doing more than well. It's literally like breaking all sorts of records, and that's awesome, man. The French people have went out there and supported the Nintendo Switch in droves. We did hear the news like last year that the Nintendo Switch actually beat out the Wii U in France pretty quickly when it came to the all-time sales, and they're already just going further and further. And I think the biggest thing that's driving, I think, the popularity in France, just like it is lots of other places, but they really latched on to the whole aspect of being able to play the games anywhere and really just worrying about the quality of the game. I mean, there are some areas that like more graphical capabilities, for example, the UK or like FIFA or things like that, which that's still popular, and of course people like graphics pretty much everywhere. But at the same time, France seems to be like a country that's a little bit more on the trending tab in terms of like being able to play anywhere and liking that, and that being a part of their lifestyle. I've actually had a ton of French fans say, yeah, I play the Nintendo Switch all the time, portable mode. That's kind of how I love to play the system. You know, this is how people are playing it here where I'm at, because I always like to gather some new info in terms of how people are playing the system in certain European countries or throughout the world. And that's what I've been hearing from a lot of the French fans out there, a lot of the French users, is that, yeah, they're kind of playing it a little bit of both. They're doing the whole Switch aspect of it. They love that aspect of being able to play anywhere, switch on and off the go and things like that. Whereas I think here people play it, like United States people definitely play it on the go and stuff like that. But I think that docked might be a little bit more popular when it comes to things. And of course, Japan, it's all about the portable play. So it's always interesting to see which regions the Nintendo Switch is doing really well and how they're playing. So let me know this, guys. Any of you guys live in France, and how do you guys play the system? Do you really kind of switch it back and forth? How is it that you like to play the Nintendo Switch? Now, personally for me, and seeing this 1 million milestone, it just goes to reinforce what Nintendo's been doing and what they've done with this system. The marketing, I think, was probably the greatest thing with the name. The Switch, it's so easy, it's universally known. Once again, a universal name known, Switch. I think most languages use that for the most part in terms of Switch, or it's very easy to convey. And I think that has to be a very vital part of the success. In addition to the games, the biggest thing, obviously, Mario, Zelda, Xenoblade, all in 1 year. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. Then you had ARMS and Splatoon 2 as well. So also all of these great games, all of these independent games, all of this stuff kind of coming through. I think it really just kind of hit home hard, you know, when it comes to the French fans out there, and it's doing extremely well. And hopefully that continues on, because I think that the Nintendo Switch has a chance to really eclipse the Wii at some point in terms of overall sales. It's on its way, still got a long way to go, but at the same time, we're coming up on a year, and look where we're at. We're looking at it's going to be 16 million units plus for the first year, with no signs of really slowing down too much. Plus, there's going to be a lot of big stuff this year. We've gotten some pretty crazy rumors when it comes to certain games, maybe Animal Crossing, Super Smash Brothers, Bayonetta 3, Metroid, Pokemon. There's a lot of games, big ones, that can still drop within this next fiscal year that can really boost things up even more. So I'm excited to see the future. Of course, to see how French sales continue to go upward. So what do you guys think about France in terms of the Nintendo Switch surpassing 1 million units sold in that country? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the next article, Ninja, we do got some actual launch dates and information. Well, not launch dates, more like launch date and information for Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch. The title will launch on April 26th in Japan. So, Bandai Namco released Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch on April 26th in Japan for 6,800 yen. The company has officially announced the Switch version will run at 30 frames per second across all 3 included titles: Ultimate Ninja Storm, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, and Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3. In TV mode, it will run at 900p resolution. In tabletop and handheld mode, it'll run at 540p resolution. Now, there's additional details on what type of controllers that you can use. You can pretty much do everything for all the different modes, except for, like, there's no single Joy-Con play. That's pretty much the only thing here. Pro controller, grip, all that stuff, Joy-Con split, all that stuff is supported, with the exception of just the single Joy-Con. And there is online. They didn't cut out the online or gut the online. You can still be able to play online with other people, which might be good or might not be good, depending on how much spamming people do with Rasengans. Pretty much all the information that they've released there. It's a pretty straightforward package. It's pretty cut and clear. There's not really anything that they're adding too much into it. I don't know about HD Rumble or anything like that. They might have that in there. Bandai Namco has done some cool HD Rumble with, like, Dragon Ball and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that they actually have that in there. But also another thing which I do like is that the online has been preserved. That's actually really cool, guys. I honestly thought they were going to cut that out. Although I will be honest, I didn't know that they didn't do that for the Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy on the Xbox One and PS4. That's cool that it's actually in there. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about another thing with this game, is that it's April 26th. So it's actually coming up pretty quickly here. And it seems to run good enough. Some people might be saying, oh, well, 30 frames per second. Well, the PS4 and Xbox One games run at 30 frames per second as well. And they run at 1080p, 30 frames per second. And even the PC version, when it launched, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 or 3, one of those two, that actually ran at 30 frames per second before people had to, like, release their own custom mods to unlock it. They might have fixed that at this point, but it was at 30 frames per second even on the PC at launch. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's 30 frames per second on consoles, and not a bad resolution at all when it comes to the docked play. Obviously, some people were complaining about the 540p resolution with undocked, but to me, I mean, it'd be like a PS Vita. That's essentially what the screen is there. I have no problem with that. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, they have an animated kind of style. I don't think it'll be too bad at all. I think it'll be fine. And you can play 2 people per one console in terms of local multiplayer. So I'm guessing they tried to stabilize that and make sure that it still runs at that same 30 frames, because there's a lot of effects There's a lot of cutscenes. There's a lot of graphical things kind of going on with this game. It definitely looks good. So we'll see how it runs. We'll see how it plays once we get our hands on it on April 26th. I'll probably do some live streams just to let you guys know about it, because some of you guys were thinking about maybe getting the game, but you're not really into Naruto too much, or you haven't really played the games beforehand. Well, I have all of them. So I have every single game in the franchise. So, you know, I have no problem kind of playing and showing it off and kind of letting you guys know what this game is all about. Or if you want to watch me play Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, which isn't coming at this point, but I think that it will later this year, you can watch my Let's Plays of Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 on the channel. All right, guys, well, that wraps it up for this video here. What do you guys think about my own little soapbox lecture on what we need to stop doing as fans, in addition to Naruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy, and also the 1 million plus units in France? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube Live gaming page and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes for your YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below. Consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace.